This is basically repetition from the first 4 videos, so if you saw the first 4, don't even worry about this one. But I'm leaving this in because I want you to see that even though that she has all the facts that I have, she still has to, in the very end, she has to say it's all about magic.
Or the machine measures that object, it seems to cause that object to collapse.
What is the measuring device? The measuring device is a filter that kills 50% of the photons coming out of this slit. All these filters kill photons. They also rotate the other remaining photons, unless they're already in the same exact plane, transmission axis plane. They kill and rotate. They don't. She acts like measuring stuff and observing stuff is just her looking at it. No, she's killing things literally, and she's rotating things literally. That is not observation. That is not just looking. That is not just measuring. What is the measurement down here? Oh yeah, you're killing. That's how they measure. They kill things. You literally rotated the photons. She acts like she never rotated the photons.
But it actually is recoverable. If there was a way to remove all of the information about what that particle was doing from your machine or from your brain, the entire environment, every photon that interacted with that particle, then you're able to see that the particle was never actually collapsed at all.
You're forcing the verticals to die going through this filter, and you're forcing the horizontals to die when they go through this one. It's not marking them, you're killing them, okay? You're killing the verticals here, and you're killing the horizontals here. And you're rotating the photons. She's rotating all, these filters rotate photons. She acts like she did nothing. You rotated them. You blocked them off. You're doing all this stuff to these photons, and then you act like you did nothing to the photons, and it's all magic. You're a liar. This filter, okay, it doesn't care. It's not erasing what happened beforehand. The only thing it cares about is that it's going to rotate the photons, okay? And it needs to know where is your B field and your E field at relative to the polarizer, because that determines the torque, which determines, are you going to get through this or not? Are you going to get through this filter? It's not magic.
This whole thing of sort of fake collapse is called decoherence.
Remember, decoherence is just as talking about the FRESNEL Arago laws. If you're 90 degrees out of phase, out of whatever, you're perpendicular, you can't transfer any power, or any energy, or anything. Any interference, no interference. What is, I don't understand. And coherence means you're parallel, okay? If you're in between parallel and perpendicular, you use cosine theta. Yeah, to know how much coherence you have and how much decoherence you have. It's not, this is ridiculous.
And like I said, it's not controversial that decoherence happens sometimes. Like this example is a really great one of decoherence happening and then getting erased.
You didn't erase it. You rotated the photons back. You rotated the photons here, then you rotated them a second time, right? You made them decoherent here by rotating this vertical and rotating these horizontal. Then you use this one to rotate both of these groups into the same wave plane to be coherent. It wasn't your collapsing away your magical powers, you megalomaniac, you narcissistic megalomaniac.
So it's not controversial that this can happen. What is controversial is this the answer to the measurement problem?
What's funny is it's not, they can't see the photon, right? The E field and the B field. They can't see it oscillating. They don't know where in that oscillation that is, right? So that, and that determines, like if you're oscillating, let's say this is your oscillation. You're going up and down, up and down, up and down, right? You could be at the top of your oscillation. You could be at the bottom. You could be in the middle. And that determines the distance, right? If you're up here, and you're going through a polarizer, right? Or you're going to interfere with another light, right? This determines it. Because if you're here, you're further away, maybe. If you're here, you're closer. And close and far makes, whether you interfere, whether you have torque, whether come on! And the direction of your oscillation determines torque or interference or energy transfer, blah, blah, blah. They don't know in that where in that oscillation is that energy at. Is it up here? Is it down here? But also, is it moving? Is it moving down or is it moving up? Is it moving left, right? Those all matter, okay? They can't see them, and so since they can't see them, they make up leprechauns. Leprechauns does everything.
When we talk about measurement, is this what's always happening? It's so controversial because once you start saying that this is the solution to the measurement problem, what you mean is that every time you go and measure a quantum particle, there are two versions of you. One that sees the particle do one thing, and the other that sees the particle do the other thing. And both still exist. You will feel like you have collapsed to one of those, and the particle has collapsed to one of those. And every experiment that you try to do to get evidence about whether the particle has collapsed to going just one way or if it's still going both ways will show you, no, it's definitely collapsed. You'll only see the single slit interference pattern. But if you were able to somehow undo all of that, then you would see that actually there was no collapse at all. And really what happened was that you and the particle were in superposition, which I think is a very uncomfortable thought. This solution to the measurement problem is called the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. And I think that at least mathematically, it's extremely nice.
See, many worlds, they just want to add more and more magic. If their magic doesn't explain something, right, they just add more magic. And then now it's all explained. Why does she have to make it into magic? Everything has to be magic with these people. It always has to be leprechauns. It can't just be a simple, regular, common sense explanation. And what's funny is they have a choice. They can choose the normal, common sense, explanation, or they can choose the magic explanation. They have two choices, and they seem to always choose the magic, no matter what they do.
Because think about it. The maths going on here, we already know that it can happen, and it does happen in quantum mechanics. So you don't need to propose any new mechanism to explain measurement, unlike the traditional interpretations of quantum mechanics that do make measurement this special and very weird thing.
It's not weird, okay? When you have a photon, you can't see where it is at in its oscillation. Is it at the top or the bottom?
You can't observe anything in the quantum world at all without interfering with it. And most of the time, we are observing quantum objects. It is done by shooting them with a laser. That would be like observing the position of runners in a marathon by pelting them with rubber bullets and measuring the angle they bounce off. Gee, I wonder why measuring them makes them change position and velocity. Must be that observation changes reality. Of course you change reality when you shoot shit at it. That's how reality works, you pretentious morons.
And what's funny is this weird thing that, whether it went through one hole or the other, it's just one slit or the other. This is your, look at this red dot. That would be your, like my red dot to the right of it. See there how I got my laser dot? This dot, see the two lines? See the two lines, the two black lines. Those are your slits. Your photons, your laser literally encompasses both of these slits. They're going through both slits. Okay, you don't have to debate this. I can see that the blob is giant compared to the two slits. And what's funny is this rule, these FRESNEL Arago laws, I've been going on, I didn't even know what they were called, but yeah, I've been going on for 20 videos about polarizers because antennas, see these rules, you get this, you get 0%, here you get 50%, here you get 0%, but then you put a 45 in between, you get an 85%. All these rules, two parallels, you get 100%. These are all rules for a radio antenna and a radio channel station that sends out radio waves, and that antenna you have on your radio at your house. Yeah, they're the same exact rules, okay? And the same rules also that has this is the polarizer. Yeah, that plastic thing that we hold up and we call it a polarizer, a linear polarizer. Yeah, it has the same exact ratios and numbers that oscillate back and forth just like the E field. Yeah, and this here with interference patterns, yeah, it has the same exact math, the same thingy, the same cosine theta, the same percentages. Why? Because it's the same exact, it's the same thing. They're all the same thing. A polarizer is an antenna. It's just for visible light, whereas a radio antenna is for a polarizer for radio light. And this interference patterns is because it's the same thing. If you're perpendicular, you get zero reception with your radio. Same with the polarizer. Same with an interference pattern. You can't interfere. So she shut down the top ones that would have came out horizontal, but she blocked them. They would have made interference with the bottom horizontals, and that's where these fine lines come in on this double slit. The same is an opposite. The horizontals that would have come through this top one would have interfered with the horizontals coming in the bottom one, and they would have made these fine lines right here. But she blocked them off, right? So, yeah, that's why you don't have the fine lines in the double slit, because all the horizontals that would have interfered with the horizontals down here, you blocked off, and all the verticals that would have interfered with the ones up here, you blocked off. So you don't get none of the fine lines. You just get two single slit interference patterns that are superimposed right on top of each other. And when you put this in, all you did was take the intensity down 50%. You've taken one of the single slit patterns away, but since they were superimposed on each other, it doesn't really change anything except the intensity. The pattern stays the same, single slit. But basically, by doing this, all you did was shut down one of the slits. You could have just walked up and put your finger in front of one of them. Come on, man. And then if you add this, you rotated everyone into the same wave plane, so they can interfere. Here they can't interfere because you rotated them again. You rotated them to be different, to be 90 degrees perpendicular, so they can't interfere. Then this one makes them all be in the same plane, so they can interfere. And then you act like you didn't do anything it's all magic, and leprechauns did it all.
In many worlds, it's completely natural. This is exactly what you would expect to happen if you take quantum mechanics very seriously.
What's funny is that all of physics is based on this, right? You push a box at this angle here. Only the x-axis force helps. Same with here, Webers per area. Only the x-axis really helps, you know what I mean? Same with antennas, polarizers, interference patterns. If they make it legal to punch woke physicists in the face, I want to punch them like this, right? Because I'm going to have my x, everything's going to go into the x. Here, when I do like I try and punch them to the right, swing at them, right? Now I got forces going in the x and the y, right? And everything going into the x really didn't help anything, right? Because this space is up here. The only thing that really helped was going in the y direction this way. So some of my forces, hurting him is going to be lost. So I would obviously want to do this. All these things, you're taking the whatever, right? Whether it's force or you're transmitting interference patterns or whatever, man. You're taking the x component and you're taking the y component, and only the one component can be transferred over. Like this guy right here is vertical. He can't transfer any horizontal because he doesn't have any horizontal. Just like this horizontal can't transfer any vertical over to this guy because it has no vertical to transfer. Okay? Why is this considered magic? Why is it so hard for these people to understand a concept that permeates the entire thing of physics? All of our things, all it's doing is comparing two E field. It's just you're finding usable force, usable Webers per area, usable interference pattern, usable torque, usable energy, usable. It's all about all of our physics is based on this same exact concept. Yet they seem to act like they're don't know what's going on, and it's all magic, and I don't understand what's happening. What you don't you're a physicist, and all of physics is all based on this same exact thing, and you don't know what's going on, then you're a horrible physicist.